Hello Yates County and beyond. Welcome back to another episode of Invasive Species Friday. Through this short weekly podcast, we at the Yates CCE hope to bring you information about the invasive species you may see around this county. The garden is on fire with this week's invasive, burning bush. If you planted this invasive in your yard, don't be embarrassed. After being brought to North America from Northeast Asia in the 1860s, this woody shrub was widely planted throughout the Midwest and the eastern United States. It quickly escaped cultivation and is now naturalized in 25 states. Burning bush can grow up to 20 feet tall, but usually stays around 5 to 10 feet tall. Its multiple stems have prominent corky wings, which are an identifying feature of this plant. The leaves are dark green and grow in pairs along the stem. Each is about 2 to 3 inches long, tapered at the tip, and has smooth to fine-toothed margins. In the fall, the leaves turn a brilliant purplish red, which is where the shrub gets its fiery name. The flowers are greenish and mostly inconspicuous in the late spring. The fruits are red in color and hold up to 4 red-orange seeds. They typically appear in September and October and can hold on over winter. Burning bush primarily reproduces through its abundant seeds, which are readily eaten and spread by birds. It can also spread vegetatively, but only locally. Unlike many invasive shrubs, burning bush thrives in the dense shade of forest interiors and in full sun. It's highly adaptable to different environments and soil conditions, but it does prefer consistent moisture. Like we previously said, it was a popular ornamental that was planted in many yards. In a garden, the plant's typically tended and prevented from getting out of control. Unfortunately, once the birds transport the berries, the plants are typically left to their own devices. Seeds spread from gardens can infest old fields, open woodlands, and mature forests, replacing native shrubs and displacing native habitats. Once established, they can form dense thickets, throwing off the balanced ecosystem in an area. Luckily, burning bush is not the hardest invasive to get rid of. Young plants can be pulled by hand. For larger plants, a foliar herbicide used in the fall is most effective, which coincidentally is when identifying burning bush is the easiest. Cutting the main stem and applying the herbicide will kill the fibrous root system. If you don't want to use the chemicals, you can continue to cut or mow the resprouts until the root store is depleted. Continuing with the good news, there are plenty of native alternatives for burning bush that will provide you more value for your local wildlife. Northern bush honeysuckle is widespread in North America and is an excellent food source and habitat for a variety of native animals. It has green leaves that start to transition to dark red later in the season. It also has pale yellow flowers in the summer, and the seeds are fully mature for birds by September. Next up are the native chokeberry shrubs, including the black, red, and hybrid purple varieties, which are also a fun alternative. You can still get the bold red autumn color, but the sour berries are edible straight off the bush. They can also be processed to make wine, jam, syrup, and a bunch of other products. This shrub is a great food source and habitat for local wildlife and pollinators, but it's also better at stabilizing the soil and limiting erosion than the burning bush. For even more alternatives to this week's invasive, including the oak leaf hydrangeas, contact your local extension office. We can give you suggestions to fit your garden space and benefit the surrounding environment. And as always, if you see a burning bush or other invasive on your adventures, please report it to IMAP Invasives, especially if you see it outside of a garden setting. And with that, we reach the end of this week's episode of Invasive Species Friday. Next Friday, we have another shrub, this time with nasty barbs. Until then, we at the Yates CCE thank you for tuning in and supporting our fight against invasive species in Yates County.